Good afternoon. I have the little breathing exercise at the end, but I wonder whether we would benefit more from a little warm-up instead of that. Raise your hands if you're a bit too sleepy since you didn't have coffee and you would like to freshen up. Okay, so I'll ask you all to stand up. And this is a ridiculous song. Okay, I made it, so it's ridiculous. It's about the brain. So we will do as in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Army training. Okay, so I'll sing a line. You'll have to repeat the action and the line. Okay, ready? 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 Okay, we all came here to learn about brain. It's all right. It's okay. We're walking. Run a little bit. Run faster. Run even faster. Run as fast as you can. Jump up high. Squat down low. Shake your shoulders. Shake your booty. Now handshake one neighbor and give a big, big hug to another neighbor. And grab a seat. I'll later explain why this warm-up was as it was. So in today's talk, I'll focus what makes the leaders empowering and inspiring. What qualities empowering leaders possess? Also, I'll discuss actually what qualities disempowering leaders possess and what happens in the brains of those two different leadership styles. Also, most importantly, I would look actually what do these leaders evoke in the brains of team members and which of those leadership styles are more beneficial in terms of creating engaged, productive staff which can actually troubleshoot and work under the high stress and changing conditions. First of all, let's think of a person who truly, truly inspired you. It could be somebody you worked with. It could have been a formal leader. It could have been a family member or maybe a romantic partner you had in the past or right now. It could be some relative or friend of yours, a person who brought the best in you, who truly, around whom you felt you could do anything. You felt accepted. You felt cared for. Raise your hands if you came up with a person like that. Okay, so if I was to ask every one of you, what qualities did this specific person possess? You're quite likely to come up with a similar list. So first of all, in fact, actually in my workshops, I often ask that question, but we don't have much time now. So people answer, this person was really, really good with people. This person really, really cared about me. He really, really genuinely showed natural care for me. This person wanted to understand. How did I feel? What did I think? What were my dreams? What problems I had? What was I going through? This person was aware of other people, of me and others. He was really, really actually, since it showed natural curiosity in people, was getting to know people deeply. But most importantly, this person was really self-aware as well. So this person could really understand themselves well. And as a result, they knew their talents and their shortcomings. They knew their successes and they knew their failures. So as a result, that leader saw himself or herself at the same level as the team. They didn't see themselves better or worse. They saw everybody at the same level, was getting some things right, some things wrong, and was actually quite good at giving people chances and helping people when needed. This person was mindful, meaning that whenever you were having conversation with this person actually listened to it. He or she showed compassion. And in that setting, we could admit whenever we had problems or whenever we failed things. And that creates a wonderful media for people to learn and grow. And this person was trusting as well. He didn't need to kind of manage every step of the way. He said, you know what? I trust you can do that. If you need any help, come and get me. And as a result, this person was trustworthy because it was consistent and congruent in his or her behaviors. And the name to that is resonant leadership. And resonant leaders we encounter in life in all formats. Now let's think of a different person. Let's think of a person who actually brought the worst in you, around whom you felt stressed out, around whom you couldn't really relax, you couldn't be yourself. And in fact, no matter how well you wanted to perform, often you just froze next to that person. Raise your hands if you can come up with that person. Okay, somehow people usually come up quicker with that person, unfortunately. If I was to ask you what qualities did this person possess, you're quite likely to come up with the following list. This person only cared about the results I could deliver. He or she only wanted some sort of achievement, only wanted me to do tasks for him or her, and in fact treated me quite conditionally based on the results. If I delivered results, or if this person wanted me to deliver something for him or her, they were nice and sweet and caring. However, if I didn't, or if I was no longer required for the task, they might have ignored me and not cared about me at all, or at least it seemed that way. This person might be quite self-absorbed and self-centered, thinking that they actually know better how things must be executed. So in fact, they overestimate their own abilities and their own skills and underestimate the skills of team members. Not for bad intentions, but they don't take time and they don't put efforts to get to know what people are able, to get to know their successes and their talents. As a result, this person acted quite authoritative and micromanaging, was telling exactly how to get things done. So it was either his or her way or highway. Those leaders, unfortunately, are quite stressing the team, but it's also quite stressful for themselves because they feel in a lot of fear that if they don't control every single step of the actions, things will be lost and it will all go pear-shaped. As a result, those leaders experience very frequently mental fatigue and burnout, and the team members, not surprisingly, experience similar results. That kind of leadership is called task-focused or dissonant leadership. Now, those two different styles could be depicted in this picture: resonant leader being part of the team and helping to pull the weight, and dissonant leader, in fact, being the part of the weight for the team, unfortunately. However, every single one of us can be both at different times, because every single one of us have the very same networks which are needed to be dissonant or resonant. And in different times, we switch between dissonant or resonant modes. So if I was to scan the brains of those people you thought about when they were engaging with you in either resonant or dissonant styles, we would see that actually in the brains, they activated very, very different neural networks. Resonant leaders activated in the orange color here in the picture depicted default mode network. Every single person has that network and are capable to switch that on. With this network, we naturally engaged in when we are in social conversations, when we really, really focus on people and want to get to know people. We use this network to tell funny stories of our life or to remember any past events, and also to imagine what things we want to do in future as well. In order to notice our own emotions and to control our own emotions, this network is crucial. But also, we need this network to understand what other people are going through, to understand what emotions they might be feeling, what's needed for them in that time, and what tasks are they capable of as well. And last but not least, this network is crucial for doing the right choices, for making morally sound judgments, especially if the leader needs to sacrifice some things, some benefits to himself or herself for the good of the team. Now, what happens in the brains of every single one of us when we are in the dissonant mode, or what happened in the brains of that dissonant person you thought about from your past? The dissonant leaders activate completely different network called task-positive network, here colored in blue colors. Task-positive network is a very important network for us to get things done. It's a crucial network to be productive at work. So we use this network when we need to execute really well-defined analytical tasks. We also use this network to really stay focused on the task. So imagine you're writing an email, and there's lots happening in the office. So you use this network to filter out the noise and just focus on the email, and to remember what things you wanted to say in the email. Right now, I'm using task-positive network to be able to speak and to be able to remember what I want to tell to you today. This network enables us to understand why things happen as they do. Also, to solve any existing problems we have. So this network is quite crucial, actually, to get things done. However, this network is quite detrimental when we actually are in the engagement with a person. And what things we focus on, we either activate default mode network or resonant network or task positive or dissonant network. And those two networks are actually competing with one another. We cannot activate both networks at the same time. In fact, the only people who can do that are sociopaths, because they are incapable of true care and genuine compassion. Now, hopefully, there isn't many of those people here in the room today. So for majority of us, we can't activate those two networks. So what we need to do, we need to ask different questions if we know which network is needed. If you want to get things done, and you're like sitting in front of your computer and saying, okay, I need to do A, B, C, D, you need that task-positive network. However, if you're in the conversation with the person, even discussing the performance, you need to ask different questions. You need to ask, what does this person need from me right now? How is this person feeling? What is this person thinking about? So whenever we try to understand another person truly and deeply, we naturally activate default mode network. And those two networks enable us, combination of those, to be productive at work. Now, what happened in your brain when you were at the beginning thinking of the resonant leader and dissonant leader? First of all, the reason actually we enjoy thinking about resonant leaders and enjoy being around them is that in our brain, they activate so-called parasympathetic nervous system. We also call this system replenish and create system, because during that system, we're the most capable intellectually, perceptually, and emotionally. In our brain, the resonant leaders evoke the surge of dopamine. And dopamine is the brain chemical which creates motivation. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel happy and enjoy what we're doing. So that's why we want to be around them. Also, in our brain and body, actually, we get the secretion of oxytocin. Oxytocin is another chemical which has, in fact, the wide range of benefits. First of all, oxytocin creates the emotional attachment. It creates a relationship with the leader and constructive relationships in the team. Also, oxytocin enables us to care about other people and feel compassion and empathy. Also, oxytocin dilates the blood vessels in your brain. So actually, intellectually, you're the most capable because your brain has most oxygen and nutrients at that given time. And last but not least, oxytocin makes us the most resilient to stress as well, since oxytocin actually cancels out the negative effects of stress. So when actually teams are being led in the resonance style, they are much more resilient and robust when there is tight deadlines coming up. Now, dissonant leaders unfortunately evoke completely different system in our brain. And when we are being dissonant, that's what we evoke in other people as well, unfortunately. And that system is called sympathetic nervous system, or otherwise called fight, flight, or freeze system. And for that system, it's completely different priorities. So first of all, this system has been designed in biology, so for us to either fight the danger or run away from the danger. So this system has not been designed for you to be intelligent, to build relationships, and to be the most productive. The system is designed to actually, deal with the really, really stressful situations. So most of energy goes into your muscles, and so you could actually fight some danger or run away from it. Blood vessels in your brain, especially the smartest frontal part of your brain, become tiny. So less oxygen and less glucose gets delivered to that. So every single one of us in that situation, we can't perform very well. We don't feel ourselves because the centers for our personality are in the area as well. And we can't think straight. We can't perform the given tasks. We can't be creative. We cannot connect with other team members because those areas just don't get enough fuel. Also, there is the system blocks actually systems such as digestive system, immune system, and brain plasticity. So over time, in fact, people become much more much more sensitive to the stress, and they get ill very easily, get digestive problems, and they can't learn as well. More importantly, actually, in addition to those sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, your brains naturally tend to actually copy what the brains of your leaders do. And your team members' brains do exactly the same. So when we're being resonant, and this is this kind of people thinking of the resonant and dissonant leaders, and the same colors apply as in the previous slides, orange for resonant and blue for dissonant leaders. And what we noticed that actually whenever you were thinking about resonant leader, you activated default mode network, which made you more resonant, more likely to connect with other people and be caring and considerate towards others. However, when you thought about dissonant leader, you activated task positive network in your brain, in blue, and as a result, you became much more self-centered, much more narrow-minded, much more enclosed. And that happens very, very quickly. Now, those two styles, as you can see, they have very, very different effects. So which one of those leaderships you think is more effective? Raise your hands if you think it's resonant leadership. Raise your hands if you think it's dissonant leadership. I'll just raise hands for no matter what. Raise your hands if you think it depends. Okay, well, actually it slightly depends. So resonant leadership has a lot of benefits. First of all, it creates sense of belonging, it improves the performance, it creates the true collaboration in the teams. And also there is trust and purpose in the team, so people both can perform better and they want to be in those teams more. However, in very specific situations, if people have to be focused on the task, if the leader is being resonant, it might actually make them do more mistakes, and they might not be as analytical anymore, because those resonant and task-positive networks are competing with one another. So in fact, in this study done quite a while ago, with the programmers, when they were focused on the analytical tasks, they performed better under dissonant leadership. But when they needed to make decisions in the team and collaborate, they performed much, much better under resonant leadership. Also, in very specific situations, if the team is just starting and people are not qualified yet, dissonant leadership might be needed to get them up to the standard, or also if there is real urgency, dissonant leadership might be needed for short periods of time. Now, how common is resonant and dissonant leadership? Just to share one study with you, there isn't that many studies actually done, which the study was done just about 10 years ago on the managers from the consulting firm. And they showed actually that in that consulting firm, being resonant would have been much more beneficial. So actually about half of the managers were dissonant. Only 19% were highly resonant. 6% were very good at both styles, and they knew when to shift from one style to another. And actually a third were ineffective at either styles. So if resonant leadership is a common sense, how come we are actually in practice, in day-to-day, it's not a common practice? And the answer to that, which I already gave out, is stress. Under stressful conditions, every single one of us becomes selfish. Under stress, our brain actually gets in the survival mode, and every single one of us becomes dissonant. So if we want to be intelligent and know when to switch from the dissonant to the resonant mode, we actually need to really put a lot of importance in our teams on reducing stress. And here's just a few tips on how could we reduce stress on a day-to-day basis. First of all, taking regular breaks. Sleep, getting enough rest for the brain reduces the amount of stress naturally. When we are depleted and exhausted, stress builds up and actually just gradually creeps up till actually it reaches the noticeable level. Physical exercise, or just leaving the building to go for lunch outside rather than eat at your desk. Breaking tasks in small achievable steps and avoiding multitasking whenever possible. So having realistic expectations on ourselves and realistic expectations on the team. I that personally, actually, I do that, starting my day asking, what is one thing which would be the most useful for me to get done today? And only when I got that thing done, ask what's the second thing, which is the most important for me to get done that day. Because whenever we write long to-do lists, that naturally increases our stress levels. Oxytocin-inducing activities such as time with the loved ones, time with people you really enjoy, and actually if the resonant leader creates that resonance in the team, that naturally evokes oxytocin. And oxytocin is the best tool to fight the chronic stress. Meditation and mindfulness practices, and they're quite common now in the organizations to have those meditation rooms, to have mindfulness trainers coming and teaching them. But probably the most effective way and the quickest way to kill the stress effect is breathing exercise. And in fact, I noticed I've been quite effective today with my talk that I have a few minutes to take you through breathing exercise. Would you like to actually experience stress-killing breathing exercise? So I'll ask you all to sit straight up in your chairs and close your eyes. And breathe in to the count of 4. Now hold to the count of 4. And breathe out to the count of 4. Once again, into the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. And breathe out to the count of 4. As you're breathing in next time, imagine it's sunny outside. And you breathe in that sunshine and warmth. You feel your tummy, you feel your chest, you feel your back. Feel how your body expands. And hold it for a little bit. And breathe out slowly and gently. Now imagine you're by the sea. You're walking along the shore and you can hear the waves crashing into the shore. And you breathe in that freedom and freshness. You feel your tummy. You feel your chest. You feel your back. Now hold it for a little bit. And breathe out slowly and gently. Now imagine it's wintertime, there's lots of snow outside, but you're sitting by the fireplace. And you're looking at the fire and feel so cozy and warm. And you breathe in that coziness and warmth. You feel your tummy. You feel your chest. You feel your back. Hold it for a little bit. And breathe out slowly and gently. Now for the last bit, imagine there is a little candle on the table. You're looking at the flame of that candle, and you breathe in that peace and tranquility. Fill your tummy, fill your chest, fill your back. Let it fill your whole body, and hold it for a little bit. And breathe out slowly and gently. And when you're ready, come back to the room. Now look around the room. Raise your hands if you feel a bit more chilled out. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I leave you to it. And I wish you to be resonant when you need to and dissonant when you need to get things done on your individual tasks. Thank you so much.